This week I'm here with a PHEV, but it's one with a difference. It's from GW and it's the H6 GT. We've driven the H6 GT before. I'll put a link to that in the description below. But have a look at the front. There's been some changes for the 25 model year. The grille is all dark and brooding, and the front just looks a little more grown up. I think the headlights, they look rather smart. It's from the side where you notice the fact that it's got this coupe styling at the back. Not uncommon, a lot of cars have got that. It does take away a little from the practicality of an SUV, but then people aren't using this as an SUV. I like this little fin on the rear door for aerodynamics. I don't know if it does anything, but it looks great. By the way, this does have smart entry and start. Have a look inside the back. Where I can get in easily, you do have to raise the headrest if you go to sit because it's right in your back otherwise. There's tons of space, though I do have to make room for the sunroof. The floor is relatively flat, and there's a couple of USB outlets and some vents. The genuine fake artificial leather seats have GT in red, one of the new things for this year. And there's a generous armrest. And although this looks like carbon fibre, I've no doubt that it isn't. Nonetheless, this does a very good job of impersonating whatever it is trying to impersonate. But most of all, I think this feels really plush and rather elegant. Before I continue, I want to point out that this is, if you've got an ABN, 53,990 driveaway. It absolutely kills anything else. We've got a kick to open tailgate, which has worked for me every single time, unlike some other brands we could name. There's top tether and ISOFIX, some 60/40 split rear seats. Under the floor, cables and an inflation kit. A bag hook on one side and a 12-volt outlet on the other. The designers have really thought about how this car's used. And I like the first one, I like the petrol one, but like all Chinese cars, it had a slightly ethereal feel to the drive. This PHEV is entirely different. Let me just show you this. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this has DC fast charging. And we've been asked what DC fast charging actually means. My boys at Pie in the Sky shop, hi boys at Pie in the Sky at Cowan, what DC charging actually means. DC charging, or direct current, allows the car to charge faster, and the speed at which it charges depends on the onboard infrastructure of the car. PHEVs almost never have fast charging. The reason this does is because it is essentially an EV with a petrol engine. I'll explain more about that when we get on the road. The front seats are absolutely fantastic. Just going to switch this on. You see the little dash comes to life in the style of some of the cars we've had recently, like the Zeekr and so forth. A little LCD dash. This is really nice quality. A little LCD dash with all of the information I could possibly want. You can see on the left-hand side, I'm down to about 38% of battery. This car has 180 kilometers of EV-only range. The engine only kicks in when you absolutely need it. So when you start off briskly or when you're traveling on the highway at above 80 kilometers an hour. Sadly, there's nowhere to turn the auto steering on and off easily that I've been able to find. The buttons on the steering wheel are as per the previous generations. The dash is a nice two-level affair, with a 12-volt on one side and a USB-C on the other. Vents nicely integrated. Again, quality materials. This all feels very nice. This is all soft touch, and the hard touch across the front you can't reach. Everything else is nice and soft. Door controls are nice and simple. There's separate air controls, and this is also how you get to the automated parking. The cameras are nice quality, and the menus are easy to get at. The driving menus, you don't have to go in and turn that stupid overspeed warning off every single time you use it. And you can see here, everything makes sense. The front seats have heating and cooling. Hey GWM. Temperature 21 degrees.
Sorry, please repeat it.
Temperature 21 degrees.
Okay, driver's side temperature is set to 21.
There is a charging pad, a rotary dial for gears, parking brake, auto hold, and a decent sized center console box. We do have automated parking. As we move off the doors lock, I can hear this high-pitched whine. We're moving off in EV mode. There is one little annoying thing, the steering wheel doesn't come out quite as far as I'd like. All right, and I could hear, I could hear the motor cut in just then, the petrol engine cut in to provide an extra bit of oomph. 0 to 100 is 4.9 seconds. It's enough to be going on with. There is another thing I'm not that fussed on, and that is the activation for the cruise control. The smart cruise control is down here. It's a separate stalk. I didn't like it in Lexuses all those years ago, and I don't like it in this. But anyway, a pull back activates it, and a push down turns it on to the speed that you want. The car is now steering for me, keeping the speed at a set speed, and keeping me from a distance from the car in front. We're in EV mode now, again, and so the ride is very, very quiet. Suspension is fairly smooth. It soaks up most of the bumps, though I wouldn't call the feel of the suspension sophisticated. But I want you to keep in mind that if you're an ABN holder, it's $54,000 on the road. We've got a 35.5 kilowatt hour battery, and it charges at a max DC rate of 48 kilowatts. Got a range of 180 kilometers in EV only mode, and the petrol engine will only cut in when it needs to. For the last 100 kilometers, I've done 1.2 liters per 100 kilometers because I have been at highway speed, so the engine's been cutting in a little now and then. It's also used 7.9 kilowatts hours per 100 kilometers. It's got a 2-speed transmission, a dedicated hybrid transmission they call it. What it allows the engine to do is to cut in at low speed for takeoffs if you want extra oomph. And then, as I said outside, above 80 kilometers an hour, it cuts in to help directly drive the wheels. Importantly, it doesn't have a damn CVT. The bane of my life. And that's why I say this is more of an EV with a petrol engine as a range extender than it is a hybrid. And that's why it's different to things like Toyota's hybrid, which runs a much, much smaller battery. I think it's only a few kilowatt hours. So I've been pleasantly surprised. The only thing I'd like to be able to do is to have a button to turn off that smart steering. Then we deal with the elephant in the room. There's been a lot of unkind comments about Chinese cars. And indeed, when GWM was Great Wall Motors, their stuff was absolutely awful. This H6 has taken the place where the Koreans used to be. And it's now beating the Koreans at their own game. The same goes for the Japanese. The Japanese have been really, really slow to take up the EV mantle, or for that matter, the PHEV mantle. Now, we're often criticised for not pointing out all the features in a car. Once upon a time, that was possible. We could get in, do a review, and in 10 or 15 minutes point out absolutely everything the car had. We can't do that anymore. It's just simply not possible because the review would be about an hour long and all we'd be doing is a talk fest. So we've got everything we could possibly want. Lots of range, 180 kilometers. That's longer than some fully dedicated EVs. low fuel usage on the 1.5 litre turbo engine, reasonable handling. It's not a sports car, but remember, horses for courses, so don't buy this expecting it to be a Ferrari and to be able to corner at warp 10. You can't. But what you can do is have a lovely, quiet, suburban drive like this. Oh, and I haven't mentioned the sound system. It's okay. It's certainly better than what I expected it to be. I've come away from a car that I had no expectations of one way or the other, and I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. That's all this week from the GWM Haval GT PHEV. I absolutely loved it. I've enjoyed every single minute. As always, hit like, leave a comment, and just the little round thing to subscribe.